Hello, I'll be demonstrating to you how I did the assignment 2 for Breakout power-up update. So what I did was I just created this power-up class, so it just takes into account the X, Y, width, height, in-play skin, 2 skins, one for multi-ball, one for key. This is for the power-up to move down once it has been created. This collision for the paddle to collide with, and then the render for both of the skins. So, and I've on the serve state, for each serve state, the multi-ball, I've declared a multi-ball, and each time it goes to this state, it will be reset back to 0 balls. And then before it moves onto the play state, a ball will be inserted here with the ball class. And then when the power up is created is dependent on the brick limit, the brick meaning how many bricks have been eliminated, completely eliminated, which means brick.inPlay is equal to false. Each time it's eliminated, the brick counter will be incremented, and once it reaches the brick limit value, it will initiate the creation of the power up by first taking the XY coordinates of the brick, which is where the power up will spawn from. Set the power up in play to true, then run this huge code here. But first it will check power up spawn is false. False if there's no power up yet. Yes, that's true. So it will run here. Then key in play true. Check if using this self check key, it will check if the key exists or not. If it doesn't, let's just say it doesn't, it will just run this code. And it will set the power up spawn to true. So it will move over here. Also false, so it won't be run here. It will only be run once. Then once it's true, it will this does is just that it checks whether the paddle has collided with the multi-ball or not. So it will just run over here and self-create ball, power up spawn false, so it would be run once. Self-create ball will just create 2 balls and then just insert into the multi-ball with a for loop iteration just twice. And as also if it will to check if all the balls have gone below the screen, which calls for a check game over, we'll just use the same concept here. If all the balls are false, we just return true. If it returns true, we will go to the game over or serve state. At the same time, the paddle size will reset back to the smallest size, and then the width is 32, so we just set to that number. And on the other hand, if the sub.score is above the recovery points, at the same time, the paddle size, as long as it's 4 will be added by 1 and width by 32. Okay. And as for the key power up, or to obtain that, same logic applies as to what I said before, the multi-ball. Well, it's just that this time it will check if the key exists or not. Let's just say it exists. The key brick, I mean. The key, it will run this one instead. And as for this chunk of code that I haven't mentioned before, it will make sure that there's only one power up at a time. It will only create a power up once it is below the screen. So there's only one, yeah, pretty much. And in this chunk of code here, it will just check if it has collided with the key or not. If it did, then it will set to false. And this time it will unlock the key. The brick key will have its unlock variable to true. It will be set to true, and which means that it changes the skin of the key brick to one that has a key to one that doesn't have it. So you will see the difference. And then we also set the key in play to false, so that next time it will only run for the extra ball, never the key, because we only need the power up once. And I believe I've covered everything. So thank you so much. There's one extra bit that I want to note here. To create the key break, we set a key row and a key column depending on the number of rows and the number of columns that we have. So it could be anywhere around that layout, and a key break will only be created for each level multiplier of 3, so 3, 6, 9, 12 if key flag is equal to true. And then if it is true, then it will, once it's on the XY coordinates of the brick, then it will change the skin of the key break to true, which means change it to a one that has a key. And then set the color to 6 for the particle effect of a gray, because that's the color that we're going for. Set the flag to false, so there will only be one key brick per level. So thank you so much. I hope I covered everything.